Jennifer Mendyke here with your daily 60 seconds of biblical inspiration for your day. Today I'm going to read from 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9. And he said unto me, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. When we acknowledge that we are weak, when we tell the Lord that we are not strong enough to do something, then he gives us his strength. And we can rely on that much more than we can rely on our own strength. But too often, we're afraid to admit that we have a weakness, to admit that we're not strong enough for something. And that is our pride getting in the way. And when we are proud, when we're too proud to say that we can't do something, or we can't handle something, or we're just not strong enough, when we're too proud to admit that, then that blocks God from helping us. Until we're willing to admit that we can't do something, that something is beyond our ability, and we turn to the Lord and ask him to help us through it however he wishes, then he's not going to help us. He can show his strength through our weakness. He says, and these are his words, My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. When we admit our weakness, we allow God to use his perfect strength to bring us through. When we admit that it's not our ability that can do something, then God will show us his glory, and others will see his glory through us. Because when we are willing to say, I'm not strong enough for this, and yet we come through it anyway, people will say, wait, I thought you said you weren't strong enough. And we will say, I was not strong enough, but I gave it to the Lord, and he is strong enough, and he brought me through it. Anytime we're willing to admit our weakness and turn it over to the Lord, and we aren't just willing to admit our weakness to the Lord, we're willing to admit, I am too weak for this, openly. Because then when things go, when the Lord takes control and he brings you through that situation, then it's easy to say, I knew I couldn't do this, so I gave it to the Lord, and he brought me through anyway. When we admit our weakness, we are free to glorify God. We are free to tell everybody how wonderful he is, because we couldn't do it, but he did it. When we admit our weakness, we show God's strength. So show his strength today. Admit your weakness. Admit that you're not strong enough for something, and watch the Lord show his strength through you. Have a wonderful day. God bless. Goodbye.